All right. What's up, everybody? I want to thank you guys for patiently waiting. I was literally going to do this live tomorrow, but I had just gotten out of the shower and I got a nice burst of energy. I'm feeling good. And I just thought, hell, why not? Let me just get online right now and check in with my most loyal viewers. And of course, my most loyal viewers are in here right on time. Now I see that there are 20 people in the room though, but only 9 likes. So you guys know how the politics of this platform goes. If you have not hit that like button, by all means, let's do it. And while you do that, what I really wanted to do was come in and make this one about you guys. I'm not even going to get on camera. Believe me, I'm good. I've been very busy with some very creative, inspirational healing tools, things that have been given to me, downloaded to me, shown to me in dreams, and I have to move on it. I'm very clear at this point that when the higher power needs me to do something, I need to stop what I'm doing and make it a priority. And what I'm working on requires a lot of work, and I've had to even learn a whole new skill set to get it done. But I am getting it done, and it is far exceeding my wildest expectations. And I'm very, very critical of everything that I do, and I'm very pleased with how things are going. Now, we want to talk about what's going on in the world. I want to know what's going on with you guys. Of course, as you can see, as I said like 6 months ago, this whole corona situation in terms of what has been reported versus the truth of things, look at how much of it has come out in the wash. The world is still here in spite of all of these huge influencers getting on these platforms and telling people otherwise. All right. So you guys, my loyal viewers, you know pretty much at this point what the game is all about and why there are only a certain few who are allowed to reach the masses. And these are people who are either stirring up fear mongering, they're over exaggerating, they're promoting the popular mainstream narrative, they're causing division, they're misleading people, they're lying to people, they're deceiving people, they're pretending to be woke when they're really not, they're using dark magic to cipher energy. It goes on and on and on and on. But as I've been warning you guys for years, it's here. And we are in the eye of the storm, and things are going to definitely continue to get more interesting. But I'm going to say it again. The world is not ending. The world is simply, as we know it, going through a massive transformation from the inside out that is also happening multidimensionally. And I'm out there on the astral realm and beyond. And I'm telling you, there's far more good going on than what is being reported. The negative always get the most press. And if you guys stay glued to the mainstream news and the most popular platforms, the biggest influencers on the internet, you would easily have the perception that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. But of course, you guys know what time it is, so I don't have to preach to the choir with you guys. I really, again, want to make this about you guys, what you're feeling, what you're thinking. But before I get into that, let's go on and do this roll call. Shout out to Revamped Skunk, buddy. I get all of your emails. I just can't respond to every last one of them because I get a lot of email. But just know, yes, I do get your email and I respond to them when I can. Mishiro Abanitas. And guys, please forgive me if I mispronounce your name or your handle. Everybody pronounce their names differently, different dialects. So by all means, if I mispronounce, please excuse me. 4D, MIDI, what is this? Media Tip Soul. Oh, 4D Media Tip Soul, same. Spiritual High, welcome. One Infinity, welcome, fam. Shondell Rivers, what's up, fam? Veronica, hey, Veronica, what's going on? Aoverk is, again, please forgive me if I mispronounce. Ramon, what's up, Ramon? Eyes Open to All Truths, welcome. I like that name. Serena, what's up, Serena? New Mars Volta, welcome. Serena, welcome. Amar, what's up, Amar? You have definitely been with me almost from day one. I appreciate you. Playboy, you say I'm new, but been binge watching you and enjoying the content. Thank you very much and welcome. Jason Vizcara, yes, the energies are crazy, yes. And crazy is figuratively and literally depending on the person who's receiving these energies. Let's see. Gaia Earth, what's up, fam? Glad you made it. Sirius King, welcome. What's up? Asian new one, welcome. Spiritual high. So I think I got everybody covered so far. So now I want to get into where you guys are feeling, what you're feeling. Let me go back up to the top of this feed here. Nice piano music. Thank you. That's that's part of what I've been working on. Transformative healing, transcendental music. That is one of my original pieces. Yes, thank you very much. More of that soon to come, for sure, for sure. You were thinking about me today, One Infinity. Well, hey, that means we're on the same wavelength. And I picked up on you, obviously. We're there. Hey, Ramon again. Let's see. Hey, from New Jersey. New Mars Volta. Okay. I'm new, but okay, I got that. I've been watching. Uh, okay, in terms of the energy, let's go ahead and start with that. I had done a calibration level. Last time I checked, the calibration level of the planet was about 73%. And let me tell you, the planet is basically a macro, and we represent the micro within the macro. Now, one of the reasons why this ascension process has to happen incrementally is because as these energies increase and the anchors slowly take these energies in and these downloads, you're going to have those who hate that energy, who can't handle that high energy, who will use their resources, their interdimensional connections, and so on and so forth to get the people in a much slower, dense state of consciousness, which generates slower, denser energy. And these energies collectively, now we're talking about billions of people. It doesn't matter if we're talking about souls or spirit. If you are alive and you came out of a womb, you are generating electrical currency, energy, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. And your emotions, energy in motion, in your consciousness and where you are and what you are thinking is interacting and interfacing with these greater energies that's hitting the planet. So here is why you guys see the opposition turning up every possible angle to generate tremendous discord, chaos, drama, fear, division. And of course, the corona situation is really falling all through the cracks. So now the one thing that continues to work on people like nothing is the whole racism thing. So you see a lot of this stuff continues to be staged and pushed to the forefront, and we have a bunch of people who don't have their mind's eye open, who are totally emotional, who have not worked on themselves, feeding into this and are collectively creating a counter energy that is getting in the way of this process, which could go a lot faster. You see, so this is where people talk about the spiritual or metaphysical warfare. This is where it's happening. It's happening in terms of consciousness. And remember what I've always said, our consciousness exists beyond on this plane. A small fractal of the consciousness is here from the perspective of the ego, but our consciousness is layered much like an onion. So although you are consciously aware of this live feed right now, you are consciously aware on a higher frequency or different vibration of a lot of other things, and is intelligently absorbing and interacting with those energies, although you're not consciously aware of it. This also, again, I like to use the analogy of the physical body. We have trillions of cells within our body right now doing incredible, intelligent things independent of our conscious mind at this moment. So again, think of humanity being the equivalent of a collective whole human body. Okay? The earth would represent the body and we would represent a cell within that body. And just imagine the energies hitting this planet being the equivalent of massive sun rays. And because many of us are miniature suns, and our energy interfaces with this, if we are producing and generating a counter energy, it makes it that much more difficult to raise our vibration and to accelerate and match the frequency that is coming in. So you guys, for the most part, you are handling these energies very well. But again, I'm preaching to the choir because of course my channel is not growing at all. It has been totally arrested. So this information is still getting out, and I would prefer that it get to the people more from a genuine place. But again, there are seeds out there who are activated, who do have access to a greater who have access to more people, and they're making this known, but it could be much more. So you guys, when you come across genuine brothers and sisters who have been at this for the longest, and you have seen that they have proven themselves to be worthy of sharing the content, and you get good vibes and good energy from them, by all means share their content so that it could be collectively far more reaching, and the people start making more informative decisions and start consciously taking control of their emotions. You have a lot of people who are acting out so erratically and so irrationally. Okay, I'm seeing 28 people in the room, but only 17 likes. What's up, guys? Let's get those likes up. All right, so for me, I've been having a lot of energy. Even when I'm out there on the astral plane and I'm in my dream state, when I come back, I'm so supercharged. And I see a lot going on out there, believe you me. Now, I've talked about this before, but I want to make especially some of you guys in here aware of the fact that our dream state, many cases, are things that are actually happening on another parallel reality or dimension, but sometimes those dreams are our subconscious mind creating a distraction so that our higher selves can go out and focus on work or doing things so that it doesn't interfere with the work that we're doing here. This is just how really amazing we are. And I'm not telling you this from theory or make believe. This is what I consciously remember. I saw it. I've seen myself do it from a multi-dimensional level. I've seen other people do it in the alternate state. And the issue is that most people are doing it unconsciously. So, for instance, most of you guys know that you dream, but how many of you guys remember the point when you separate from your conscious mind perspective into the dream state? That's what I'm talking about. I clearly remember the starting point in the beginning of the dream, and when I'm going into a dream, and what happens in between that process, the same as what happens when I go into the so-called astral realm. But again, I'm consciously aware of those things because this is a part of my job. And so I am allowed to consciously remember aspects of both so that I can bring this information forth and remind you guys of what you already know. Because it's like anything else, there will always be some of us who will retain more information and could take very complex information and break it down and get it out there or put it out there in a way that the right person at the right time will receive, and it will be a catalyst for them to go about doing what they need to do or remind them of the things that they should be doing. All right, let me it's interesting. I don't see many people coming in, and 32 people in the room and 26 likes. All right, Amar, I do my best to share authentic content, but it's difficult to find genuine people who are receptive to it. You know, I'm going to tell you another reason why that is. Unfortunately, most people have been brainwashed to trust a certain kind of image. If you are someone who does not fit the so-called narrative that most people have been taught, and believe me, this has been by design, make no mistake about it. Now, information can come in any size, any form, any place, any gender, ethnicity. It does not matter. Information can come in all forms, But most people have been taught and programmed to accept that if it's not coming from someone who has these credentials or look like this or of this hue, or if for the black community, or I'm just saying black for lack of the better word, for the black community, if they don't come across acting and talking like a hood booger and cussing every 10 seconds, if they ain't acting like they, connected to that hyper masculinity or toxic masculinity, or if they not acting like a hood rat, most black people would disregard it, and it's a setup. And I've seen it from day one. And this is one of the reasons why collectively as a people we continue to keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. I really hate to say it, but the majority of our people are still too on the surface, and that's just the reality. Everyone else seems to be getting it. And see, we have a very powerful potential to make incredible connections. Our greatest strength is also our greatest weakness. We are very, very strong in emotion and creativity, and so that gives us a predisposition, a vantage point. But if we're not tapping into that because we're on the surface and we're still following these fake pro-blacks, I'm going to do another video about that. These fake pro-blacks, these fake pan-Africans, and all these fake rappers and all these, see, this is what the majority of our people continue to listen to and trust and follow. It is a setup. And the reason why I'm making that the primary point is because collectively as a people, when the people who have the most concentrated connection and potential spark and come together, that's when this acceleration will go to the next level, because the so-called melanin is really concentrated light. And when a lot of us come together and spark that on, that's the jump start. Here's why darker people with melanin are the most brutally attacked on this plane. You see? And I hate to see it, but what has to happen is that, again, we have to continue to keep burning until we learn. And that's why you guys don't hear me keep talking about this pro-black, all this political crap. I don't get into that because I know what that is really about. I'm trying to get people to start looking beyond the form. It's time to get skin deep. Again, I'm preaching to the choir. I feel like I am becoming more of an observer, not engaging in. That's a neutral position. That's a very, very great position to be in at this time. Even if you say make your daily goings about, I would say about 70% being an observer, and about 30% moving into action with what moving into action. Something meaningful and purposeful based on what you've observed, I think you will have a really nice balance. But I would say stop and meditate on that. But that's a very, very good place to be. Just observe, get in that neutral space. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Very true. You are so right, ABB. Thanks for the response. This has been on my mind all this week. Hey, Anita, the healer, welcome. Hey, fam. Agree with you when you said it's a setup. Yes, it's a setup. The misfits of the world, and this goes beyond shade and ethnicity and all that stuff. The misfits usually are the gatekeepers of the other realms. Okay, and so the world has been taught to see the misfits, the outcasts, and this is why the story of Jesus, which is more allegorical and symbolic than anything, they talked about how Jesus in his time, again, allegorical, it's symbolic, in his time was an outcast and misfit. He was not popular. He was seen as crazy and weird, and he hung around the outcasts and misfits. But look, all these years later, people who are of that kind of ilk or consciousness have and continue to be the people who evolve humanity, who move humanity to the next level. Hey, kindred spirit. Hey, thank you. You're so right, spiritual high. What does spiritual high say? I missed that. Fireburner, welcome. From Houston, welcome. Unconditional love and gratitude, poetically mistaken. Thank you so much. So, in spite of everything that's going on, there's far more good news going on now. People have been asking me, is there going to be another global shutdown? I don't see that happening, but what I do see happening is a continuous push to get people vaccinated, and they're going to go about doing it as always with more fear mongering, because now we're going into the flu season. I do see pockets where they would be doing like the quarantine type stuff, but I don't see it going back to what it was. No, I do not see it. And I'm telling you, before long, it's just a matter of another massive event taking off. The people will not even be thinking about Corona. And I would say starting around the early part of next year, the climate will be totally onto something altogether different. And these elections, by the way, is going to be very, very interesting. I have to kind of watch what I say with regards to that. But let's just say I see a lot of very controversy. Like, we're going to see some things like we've never seen before. And we're going to see um, Team Trump kind of get this by default. And I'm saying Team Trump for a reason. Now, you guys who remember my read that I had done when the real Trump, hint, hint, was sworn into office, I said that I don't see him serving a complete term, and I'm still getting that now. Now, listen to me closely, because I can't outright say it, because I'm sure this will be censored. Okay. The reason why I say Team Trump is because there are players in the game now that no one will ever see in the media. You guys do not see them. These are guys who have basically gotten in the mix and who are redirecting things. And so when you look at a lot of these politicians, there's the politician, but then there's a substitute, okay? So where I'm ultimately going is that whether the real Trump is seen or not, what Team Trump represents, again, which you will not see, they're not in the public eye, it's going to be for the greater of humanity. Okay? They are pushing for a civil war. Actually, there is a civil war. It's going on, but it's more psychological at this point. Now, here's what I see also happening. And again, I have to say it in a way where it's coded. Now, you guys may not get it, hearing it, but when you later on, your higher self will decode it and break it down, because you guys are, you have the vibration and the codex to decipher what I'm getting at here. I see a lot of vigilante justice being kicked up. Some of it is going to be authentic, and some of it is going to be fake. And this is to generate get the civil war going to the point where the people are literally going in based on race. But the beauty about this is that as more people awaken, the less likely that's going to really take off. I don't see that really taking off. I just don't. Now, again, when you guys look at, I'm not 100% right 100% of the time, but if you, all of you guys who've been watching me over the years, I have always been that one who would give a read on that would go against the popular narrative. And the popular narrative would be 10 times wrong, but still keep a large trusting following. And I have been about 90% on the money. And actually, I have been more accurate than that, because the only reason why it appears that what I read doesn't come true is because they've done a lot of manipulating of timelines. So what has happened is they shift things around, but and I would say something would happen within a specific timeline. It may not happen in the timeline that I perceived it at first, but it ended up happening sometime later. You see? Oh my God, ABB, I've been advocating what you're saying as well. So you are confirming a lot of downloads. Yes, everyone who has a calibration level of 500 and higher are getting downloads. Now I want to talk about calibration levels as well, because I've been doing a lot of calibration readings, and almost everyone who watches me calibrates on average between 450 and up, and but most are between 500 and 650. Very few have gotten all the way to the 900, 1000 area, and I'm going to tell you why more of us are not reaching those levels. Number one, you have a lot of us, a lot of you guys are still entertaining people who who do not have your best interests at heart. You are in relationships that you're trying to force to make happen, and it is not going down. Or shall I say, it's going down, but it's not going up. You want it to go up. So when you are in a relationship at this point in the game and you're not equally yoked, and let's say you're calibrating at 650 and the person you're with is still close to 300, they are by default going to pull on your energy, and they're going to keep you in that range. Your love and your conviction to try to make something out of sour milk is getting in the way of things. A lot of you guys are still wearing your heart on your sleeves. A lot of you guys are still giving time and attention to people who do not deserve it. If you guys are giving of yourself to people for years and they're still doing the same thing at this point, it is time for you to start making some different decisions and making some different moves. A lot of you guys are still been watching and tuning in to fear mongering. Now, I know that some of this is out of boredom and curiosity, but remember, a lot of you guys are empaths and you have not learned how to put the brakes on and protect yourself. So when you engage in this kind of energy, it's going to pull on you. Now I'm getting ready to get into the sexual part of it. Now, I'm not saying there is anything wrong with sexual release with clear, pure intentions, but especially the guys, when we sexually release because we don't have someone and we're craving that connection and we're craving that love, we have to be very mindful of how often we're doing it, because we're depleting our energy and weakening our root chakra, which is the foundation and the base. And we're also opening ourselves up to interdimensional beings coming in and harvesting the energy that we give off during the orgasm, during what we would call the M word. I have to, unfortunately, this censorship they have up here is not for their influencers. It's for the people that they are holding back. So I'm going to have to, even though I'm not monetizing anything, they could still interrupt this live if I say something that they don't like. So those are based on the readings that I've got, and with the ladies, there's still too many ladies trying to cling to relationships with guys who are literally draining and stressing them out. And I understand, believe me, sisters, I understand. You see something special, you see a light there, and you have a connection and a bond, and this your baby daddy and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying to completely cut the ties, but you have to reevaluate how you are serving your purpose at this time. And if you are depleting your energy and having other people suck the life out of you at this point, it is getting up in the way of your progress. And we need you to continue to be on the up and up of your calibration level, because where the general population can't hold those higher frequencies, You guys will make up the difference. A lot of you guys are anchors. You're anchors by default. Okay, we have some new people in. Um, Koranu, welcome. Spice Gal. How did you reply to them? Just, oh, okay. Spice Gal. Welcome, guys. If you come in the room and I have not given you a shout out, I do apologize. I'm talking and I'm kind of looking at the same time. Nomad Society, welcome. Travis, welcome, buddy. Michelle Paulunani, Pulani, is that how I say your name? I've been noticing a lot of darkness in people and lawlessness. Yes, remember, my most loyal viewers will remember I was saying where the New Agers were saying, oh, everybody's just going to wake up and it's everybody going to ascend at one time. I was saying no. At some point, yes, that will happen in due time. But I said before that is even possible, we're going to see people who are going all the way on the up and anchoring in these energies. And then we're going to see people who are going to go in the extreme opposite, apparently or seemingly losing their damn minds. And we clearly see that's happening. So, but again, the good news is that the majority are either, in that neutral place or they are working on themselves. It's starting to really catch on. Unfortunately, the batshit crazy ones are always pushed to the forefront. These are the ones that are promoted all over social media and the mainstream media. So again, it gives the perception and the impression that this is all that's going on. And then because that's what they put in the forefront of our consciousness, we start only noticing that in other people who are around us. So it's a psychological game going on here, Earth Avatar Andrew, welcome. AJ the Being, welcome. Midnight Cleanse, what's up? Albert Dearth, welcome. Okay, Misty World, hey, what's up, fam? Yeah, I have a partner who isn't like me at all. You're spot on anyone else field downloads last night. I had a very visual one. Now, the downloads too is as you're getting the downloads, you guys are interacting. Let me put it like this. If you are having very vivid, lucid, real-time dreams where the dream is not like chaotic, and all over the place, chances are you are actually tapping into another reality. And on that reality, you guys are actually interacting with higher dimensional beings. And so not only are you guys receiving downloads, but simultaneously you guys are in training and you are incrementally bridging in key information and skill sets. And I'm saying sets because you guys are getting multiple skills and you're going to just know how to do things or just know things and you're not even going to consciously know how. This is why you're getting downloads and you are in training as well. And so the Star family is definitely interacting on a download with certain people down here at this point. Tall Starlight, what's up? Trump was absolutely unnecessary. Now, to the average person, they can't even conceive that. But yes, remember, we are in a dual reality. You have to have the positive and negative because you have to have friction. You have to have gnashing. You have to have, for any kind of operating system to produce something, you have to have the pros and cons and positive and negatives. You have to have polarities of both. But unfortunately, what has happened here is that it has been tremendously out of balance for a long time. So we are creating incredible things in the process. So yes, I said it a long time ago. Trump was necessary to turn the dead pig over and reveal all the maggots, the filth, the nastiness, the ugliness that people continue to sweep under the rug and act like it's not there. And this is happening globally, tribally, in terms of nation, and so on and so forth. AJ the being. I've been going into trances and having a vision while in the trance, and the vision so real to the point I can walk around in them. Yes, you are actually stepping, literally stepping into another parallel dimension in reality. So that means your consciousness has definitely expanded. Give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go back up. Let me see. I just can't believe how easily we humanity are controlled. Yes. Yeah, it is. That brainwashing runs deep. That brainwashing in conjunction to fear and lack of confidence. Man, I haven't watched ABB in years. Boo Baby was fired back in 2009. I was fired. Yeah, back then, yeah. Is talk about a long way, right? You remember those days. Yeah. I was really, really in the zone back then because all of this was new and I was charting on very different territory. There was no one out there doing it like that at that time. So I'm very, very happy. I was kind of like a sacrificial lamb, but you look at the things that people such as myself was saying back then, and it was seen as crazy and taboo or what have you. And look at where it is globally. Like, look at a lot of these catchphrases and these terms that people are using every day. I hear it all the time. That started back around that time. We're all a part of cosmic history. Let's see. Can you name any of these influencers? I haven't kept up with ABB really in 8 years. Oh, that was to Anita the Healer. Uh, Speaking of Anita, special shout out to Miss Quiet Queen. I got all of your messages and I'm going to call you. I have a very special message for you, just for you. And you guys, most of you guys definitely know who Miss Quiet Queen is. We need to hold this sister up. She's going through a very, very difficult time and she's doing the absolute right thing by taking time to work on herself. She's very much needed. And I've always said, those of us who do tremendous energy work, where tremendous energy is required and we give off and engage in tremendous levels of energy all the time, it's very, very draining work. And this is why you guys often see me take long breaks. And I rarely announce that I'm taking breaks. I just do it because I'm just in the now, in the moment. So I'm glad to see our beloved sister taking more time for her and working on her. And I'm going to give you a call, definitely, Miss Quiet Queen. Sorry, I didn't follow this side of YouTube anymore. I have no idea what has happened. The New Age community is probably mostly fake, but ABB has always been a solid dude. Thank you. You know, I got thrown in that New Age group. When I came on, I just wanted to bring to light something that I knew in my soul. I had no doubt about nothing that I had experienced for years prior to that point. I knew, and my family, they can attest, they're some of my greatest fans and greatest supporters. I have always said that I know that my purpose is to come on this planet and create a unique form of ministry, bringing to the masses the true nature of reality, because that is what I experience. It's what I live. So it just so happened around that time, the New Age community was starting out. Now, I've learned a lot in this regard. I just like the religious community, all these major movements have been infiltrated. So I see the religious community trying to say the New Age community is fraudulent, and then now you got all these other groups that are coming out trying to say this group is fraudulent, that group is fraudulent. All of them have been infiltrated. I've seen a lot. I've done readings on all of them. I just don't get into calling out names, but all of them have been infiltrated. But that does not mean that they all do not have pieces of the puzzle, because they do. I'm going to keep saying it. No one man, no one woman, no one institution, organization, secret society, secret order, no group has all of the truth for everyone at all times. But everyone has pieces of the truth some of the time. I knew you were sent with a purpose, and I connected you from day one and has encouraged me to speak out. Absolutely, fam. So I have been healing, growing, and going through training. Yes, you have. Thank you so much. Dude, you have to take breaks from spirituality. You'll get drifted into the clouds and disconnect from it. Absolutely. And those of us who have and now let me talk about the opposite of having a high calibration level but having the responsibility of doing a lot of energy work and but having to remain anchored here. Those who have very high calibration level, we have to constantly do things to make us a little denser, to weigh us down. So for instance, people say we shouldn't eat meat or what have you. For those who have very, very high calibration level and do a lot of energy work, for us to be anchored here, we have to periodically do things like that. Because if we don't, we will float right on outside our body. We would the body would not be able to hold us. We would just become so beyond the physical body if we were to do every single thing in terms of making every aspect of ourselves as light as our calibration level. So this is why I tell people, don't listen to trends and follow trends. You have to listen to your body and listen to your mind, your consciousness, your ultimate self. And you will know it'll be an increased urge and feeling that comes from your gut, your center, or your heart, not what comes into your head. The head is connected to it, but it's a matter of what you feel in your heart. So some of you guys at this point may be feeling that you have to not eat meat. That's your body telling you this is for your unique situation to recalibrate and to go through your transformation. Some of you guys may who have been vegans and vegetarians for a long time, you may be calibrating so high that you are becoming so too high where you're not even here. You can't even anchor yourself enough, and you're getting too far out of tune. So you have to do things to bring yourself down a little bit and anchor yourself a little more until your job is done. So this life is a constant balancing act. So again, we have people pushing these two polar opposite um, um, recommendations that you shouldn't be doing this at all, but you should be doing all. No, the truth is somewhere in the middle for everyone. But yes, there are some who could very well benefit from either polarity, but most of us fall somewhere in the middle, or there's a spectrum in terms of how we should be eating in order to do what it is that we've come here to do. Does that make sense, guys? I had become a strict vegetarian, and it was because at that time, for me to get ready to get into my purpose, I had to completely purge myself. So I literally stopped eating. I was at that time I was mostly eating poultry, but I still ate what people call junk food here and there. But I ate a lot of salads at the same time, and I didn't eat 3 meals a day. Like today, to this day, I only eat 1 meal a day on average, and maybe some snacks in between. And I, for the most part, would eat whatever I want, but I fast and I purge and I detox. This is a part of my lifestyle, and this is how I balance myself. But back then, when I became a strict vegetarian, my body, my height, for me to get in my purpose, it was required that I stop eating what I was eating and recalibrate my body. So a lot of people are going through that where they shouldn't be eating meat because they're getting ready to energetically and alchemically go through another transformative state. And so their body has to purge, it has to acclimate. And so naturally it will guide us to what we need. There are some of us right now who have been vegans and vegetarians for a long time, and you are being guided. You need some protein. You need a protein boost, and you can only get it through the very things that you don't want to do. But You have to do it because in order for you to be anchored here and to preserve your health, you need that boost. So what you do is you go and you get the meat, whatever meat you need, the protein that you need, and you get it from a place where the animal is treated humanely, and the when the animal is sacrificed, they do it quickly and as painlessly as possible. And when you get the meat, you give thanks to the animal. You project light and thank gratitude into it. You take it, use it for what it is, and after you're done, you simply purge yourself of it. I'm not one of those, oh, you ain't spiritual if you ain't doing all of this or no, no, that's not how it goes. Now, for some people, yes. For the majority, no. I've done a reading on it on multiple levels, and I have no doubt about it. My mother was very, very balanced in these things, and I know for a fact my mother made it out of here. Speaking of which, let me tell you guys a quick true story. My mother, and I'm gonna tell you guys when they say we're not supposed to interact with the dead. Yeah, you can't interact with something that's dead because it's dead, right? But again, we've been grossly miseducated about what death is. Death is really transformation into a greater expansion of life. Let me say that again. Death is simply a transformative state into a greater expansion of life. Death is not real in the way you guys, we have been brainwashed to see it. Okay? So when you go to a grave site and you're talking to that shell of a person and that's talking to the dead, they're not there. Now, let me take it back. There was a time when people would pass away and they'll hang around their body for a time. But for the most part, where we are now, the majority of those beings who occupy those vessels, they are not there. So you're on a grave site talking to the dead. That's when you're really talking to the dead. But when they come to us in an energetic state, or they come to us in a dream state or an astral state, they are more alive than we are. So my mother, and it takes tremendous energy to do this, by the way. This is how I know this, and I'm going to talk more about this because I don't want to get too deep into this. My mother has been coming to me so much as of recently, but this one takes the cake. I was sleeping. Now I sleep. When I sleep, I go really deep because a lot of times I'm all the way out there. When I'm astral traveling or astral projecting, sometimes I even stop breathing because the breathing has to become so shallow. You come near death to get that highly accelerated experience. But this particular time, I was in a deep sleep, and I know when I'm in a deep sleep, but I was not astral traveling at that point. When I tell you this happened about 5:30 a.m. in the morning, I felt my mother. It started off with an impression, and I have to do a visual, and I'll do it in a video in the future. And this has happened before. What they do is they use our energy, and because I had my mother's DNA, I see, even though she's in a transformative state, the DNA that she had with her is transferred with her to her. It's copied and transferred to her light body. So the DNA, which is like really biological antennas, is still in place. We just have to be receptive to reading the information and connection. So when they want to make a what feels like a very physical impression on us, where it feels like they're physically here, what they do is their energy comes in and it merges with the spine, the lower back of the spine, and it presses in, and it feels like electromagnetic pressure wave. That's the best way I can explain it. And you feel it pressure. It feels like pressure, and it feels magnetic, and it feels warm. It feels good. It's a feeling you really can't explain, but you know it. You know it when you feel it, especially if you experience it enough. And what they do is they merge with the DNA of the host, and what they do, they project a holographic memory or copy through us of them when they were here. So my mother generated a copy of herself, which she through my physical body and my DNA, and I felt her kiss me on my cheek. It was my mother's impression. It didn't feel like flesh. It felt like an impression, but it was clearly an impression of my mother's face and her lips. Now I have a very, very graphic, very, very photographic memory. Very, very, my mind is very, very, very intense when it comes to that. I know the impression of my mother's mouth and my mother's face. Now, mind you, I was in a deep sleep when I felt all this going on. My mother leaned in and kissed me on my, it was so obvious. It woke me right up out of my dead sleep. I felt it all, and I just started tearing. I felt it. And then I saw the flash of light with my naked eye. I saw her flash of light, and it flickered off. And of course, she's come back to me since in a dream state, or I'll hear her telepathically saying things to me. So and I'm sharing this story with you guys because my mother ate how she wanted within balance, but my mother was very, very, very energetic and very youthful looking for a 72-year-old woman. A whole lot of energy, and was, even when she had her massive brain stroke, she was still powerful and conscious enough to drive herself halfway to the hospital without running off the road. She was still conscious, but she was going in and out of consciousness. So that right there tells you the level of energy and the force that my mother had when she made her transition over. And she lived and found her balance, and she's good. I'm telling you, she's very, very good. So I want to share that with you guys. For those who have lost loved ones, and they're using that death angle to frighten people into all manner of dysfunction and craziness, let me tell you, there's nothing to fear, not even fear itself, nothing to fear. We are eternal beings, and I can't stress this enough. And when we go back home, we are going to be talking about moments just like this. Just like I'm talking to you guys about the nature of reality here, I've been in a dream state, talking to the people in the dream state just like this. I'll be like, y'all know this is a dream. We're dreaming. We're in a dream. And they'll be looking crazy and cross-eyed. Oh, but yeah, I just want to share that with you guys. Let me go back and see what I missed. Thank you for the email a couple of weeks back. Yeah, fam, you're welcome. I am Aries Moon, dude. Okay? I already read that. I knew. I'm reading. I'm sorry, guys. I'm reading this out of order. I caught COVID a few weeks ago. The dream I had in Astral were different. Death had a darker vibe. What is your opinion on this on the Astral level? Again, this so-called virus was created with a negative intent. And when something like that takes over our conscious mind and we're in a state of fear and imbalance, yes, that's going to affect the vibration in the plane we have access to. Now, had you spoken with, say, somebody like me around that time, I could have given you some advice as to how you could still override it. Thankfully, you were okay. But it's just like with anything that's related to a virus, a sickness, chaos, any form of negative energy, if we don't put mind before matter, that situation will pull us, or magnetically pull us, into a realm of awareness that is dark or negative or moot, nothing, meaning just darkness. I've heard many stories of people who had near-death experience, and they talk about they were in hell, and they talk about how they were in this really, really terrifyingly dark place. It's terrifying to them because they did not put in the work to understand what that space is. I've been in that space so many times. It's nothing to me. I don't get terrified when I'm in that dark void. I know exactly what that is. But that's because I put in that work and I understand what it is. And so therefore, when I'm there, I know what I can do and what I need to do to navigate within that space. And again, this is what putting in that work and developing and learning more about the nature of reality, what doing this, the difference in these kind of experiences, putting in that work, the those who have or report these very horrifying negative experiences are those who feed that energy or who are plugged into that energy, and they don't have the wherewithal or knowledge to know how to rise above it or navigate through it. All right, let me see. I've long had this concept of starting a ideological church, basically just a community gathering to focus on life and maintaining peace and purpose for the good. I love that. Absolutely. Get rid of labels and categories. Just be. At one time, I used to say I'm this, I'm that. People ask me if I am this group. I am all that I am. I simply am. That's all you got. Just simply be. As a matter of fact, more of us refuse to accept a label or brand. We're far less likely to find ourselves being played or playing into these mindless games. Okay. Hey, AstralBooBaby, are you familiar with Secret Energy of Seven Bomar? Um, I am familiar. I have not seen Seven. Yes, I am familiar with him. Secret Energy in what context? I know of definitely a lot of Secret Energy, but within what context? I wasn't planning on staying on this stream, but I have to admit this has been very fun. I should have checked in on ABB more frequently. Thank you very much, fam. By all means, please check out my video, check out the archives. I put a lot of work into those videos, and they're doing everything to bury them. But again, when you bury a seed, especially on fertile soil, it does nothing but grow. Okay, sooner or later. And you look at this movement thus far, really look at that, not what they want you to see. You will see that those seeds were mighty, still are mighty. Let me not say word, they are mighty. Let me see. Deep, because I was feeling like I needed to ground myself because I haven't been seeing visions and downloads. Now understand that maybe I am too elevated. Yes, you can become too elevated and too out there where your foundation is not strong enough to bring in that level of consciousness and that level of energy. Because remember, these bodies can only take but so much information and energy. So this is why some of us have to be heavier. Now, this is another thing. These people out here who don't know any better are trying to say people with larger bodies are unhealthy because they are thicker and heavier. That's not true. That's not necessarily the case. There are some people who have to have a bigger, heavier body to handle and bring in far greater information because of the purpose and the job that they had. The Buddha was a big man. He had to be a big man to handle the energies that he had. I'm on the thick side. I went through a chubby phase. I've been thin, but I'm on a semi-medium thick side. But I have to maintain a certain level of thickness because I do a lot of energy work. So I can't eat plants all day and do the level of work that I do and maintain this body here. No, I can't. I briefly tried a vegetarian diet back in 2009 when I was into this channel, and it was terrible for my health. It wasn't for you, family. Now, that does not mean that the work that you put in years down the road, your body will be different. Your body may be ready for something like that at that point. It just wasn't ready for you at that time. That's why I say, I'm glad you listened to your body. There are a lot of people who are bringing tremendous health problems on themselves because they're listening to the outer world, the noise of the outer world, and not listening to their own unique makeup and not following their own and feeding their own unique makeup. Since 2009, you ran so other people could fly and talk about astral projection. Yeah. That's a historical thing. That's history. My family and them, they tell me all the time, do you realize the role you played in this whole thing? I'm very aware of it. And I paid a price. I paid a tremendous price. And the only reason why I have not written a book per se yet, fam, is because I don't want to aid in chopping down any trees. Then I thought to do it electronically, and then of course they can block the electronic stuff. So I know at the same time there's a lot of stuff being done where a lot of power is being taken away from those who have been sitting here literally cheating and lying and deceiving and trying to keep things the way they are, trying to keep the upper hand when and disrespecting people's free will and right. That's being taken care of. So maybe at some point I will do um like a virtual book or something. I don't want to add to tearing down or chopping down trees to make hardback books to tell my story. Maybe, who knows, I may even do a movie and it'll be loosely based on my life. And let me tell you, it will be, I would not have to fabricate anything. And I promise you, people would think that I made it up because it would be so ridiculously out there. That's how my life has been. Most of my life has been 1 foot here and 1 foot in the stratosphere. And I'm telling you, you would have everything you can imagine: drama, ETs, sex, interdimensional beings, ghost spirits, you name it. My life has been all of it. Abduction, yes, that too. I just don't talk about it. But it's all good because it made me the strong. I'm a very, very strong person. Very strong. And I had to go through all of that to develop the thick skin and the courage to do what I needed to do. And still am doing. All right, Shondell Rivers, I've been saying the exact same thing too. I don't listen to most people that say don't eat meat anymore because I want to listen to myself to eat whatever I want. Absolutely. And I've been telling people what we all need to be doing is don't support farms where they're treating the animals with disrespect and with cruelty. Okay, and we can start putting pressures on the farms to start treating the animals with respect. Now I'm going to say something that I know a lot of people, and I know this beyond a shadow of a doubt. Do you guys know that that is the purpose? There are beings who make it a purpose. That is their purpose. I'm not saying all of them, but there are beings who have made it their purpose. That's what they come here to do, to be food so that the people can have the sustenance and not generate the so-called quote unquote negative cause and effect. So if I choose to come down and sacrifice a short lifespan to offer sustenance and make a part of who I am when they consume my remains and I become a part of that, that is one of the greatest form of unconditional love imaginable. Just think of a mother who wants to see the very best for her offspring, right? And if it came down to the survival of her children and herself, a mother who truly loves her child would throw herself to the wolves. And there are women who have done that to make sure her child survives and sustains itself. That's the power of unconditional love. There are beings who come down as animals who do that for the sake of humanity. Now, y'all not going to hear a lot of these so-called quote woke spiritual people saying this, okay? This is why I can tell you what I'm saying. So the way in which the way in which you can kind of get an idea of who these beings are, you have to, when you go and get the meat and you go to the farm and get the meat, stand over it and just close your eyes and just focus on the energy. What energy do you feel from that meat? When you pick up the meat, do you feel like this is something safe for you to take? If you get a bad vibe from the meat, it's probably a meat where the animal did not come here for that and was brutally mistreated. This is why a lot of us unconsciously do that. We check the meat. We go in and we look it over. We smell it. People do it unconsciously anyway. So we just need to be more consciously aware of how we consume the food and not consume too much of it. That's the problem. That's what's killing people. Just as the meat eaters develop diseases and become unstable, and develop instability due to years of overconsumption, you're going to see the same thing happen with people who are vegans and vegetarians over time. The same thing, dying at the same rate as the meat eaters. Two polar extremes doing the same unhealthy thing, but didn't take the time to find a balance for themselves. So eating a meal a day is sensible enough. And again, these 3 meals a day and all that crap, throw that crap out the window. Only time you should be eating 3 meals a day is if your body genuinely needs it and you do a lot of energy work. And it's absolutely necessary because of the kind of work you do. You're sitting at a desk all day, or your job, you're not burning a lot of energy, or you're not doing a lot of spiritual energy work or metaphysical work. Why do you need to eat 3 meals a day? You do better eating 1 meal a day and spending that time getting the rest of the charge you need from good clean water and the rays of the sun. Okay. Thanks for all the info you've given in your vids. It's all been very helpful for my awakening that I've been going through. I can feel the energy getting a bit more dense. You're very welcome. I think it's okay to eat meat or be a vegetarian. Exactly. It's a matter of what the person chooses for themselves, what's best for them. And if they find that they are going off the rears, that they're having health problems, their digestive system, or they're becoming disconnected, that simply means they have to recalibrate and find the right combination of formula for self. I'll never sit here and tell people you should only be this or that. That's just not the reality, because if our ancestors did not eat like that, meaning the genetics that you have in your body, if they weren't only vegetarians or only ate fruit, you should not be doing that. If they only ate meat, which at this point, there's no one on this planet, unless you're in a rural area somewhere in the jungles. Most of our ancestors, and we're all mixed up. Most of us have a combination of all kinds of things. So our ancestors did everything, but it's not so much what we do, it's how we do. Again, the overconsumption or underconsumption, and not finding one's own respective balance, and not periodically fasting and purging the body, and projecting the right energy in the food is the cause for the sickness and diseases. And keep in mind that a lot of this food, no matter what it is, it's toxic anyway. It has chemicals, preservatives. The soil is not what it was because of all the pollution in the air, so it's all toxic anyway. But your DNA and your genetics is so powerful that if you just give it enough, don't overwhelm it, and you put in a counterbalance, your powerful genetics and DNA will take care of the rest. It's simple as that. You don't want to overwhelm your system, and you don't want to underfeed it and weaken it. All right. I think I've been listening to your videos for 8 years. Always look forward to your. Oh, this thing is blocking. Looking forward to when I share. Oh, thank you so much. My grandma presented herself during dream states surrounded by dark golden aura. Yes, the gold. My mother. Now I understand why those who are really into this racism BS, why they this thing with gold hair, blonde hair, that's not restricted to lighter shade people. Blonde hair is also associated with a golden crown or the golden people. When I saw my mother in her light body, her hair was gold. And I'm not saying blonde, it was literally gold. So that means she's in her golden state. This is where people talk about the golden age. There's great power. There's more to the color gold, or what this obsession with blonde hair. It's very, very deep. It's associated with godhood or goddesshood. That's exactly where it comes from. This is exactly why the kings and queens wear a gold crown with the thorns or whatever. They do it artificially with gold, but alchemically, we reach those states when we get our light body. I remember seeing myself with gold hair, my higher self. It was still an afro, but my hair was platinum gold. You see? So yes, that's very true, very, very real. Thanks for sharing that with us, by the way, fam. Something got to be done about local communities. We don't leave our homes anymore or even speak to our neighbors. We've lost compassion. Yeah, that's going to change though as more people awaken and as more things get exposed. That's going to change. It's just because the people are still living in fear and they are still trusting and following the popular narrative. Okay, 54 people in the room. Now you guys know this is ridiculous. Only 54 people in this room, and I notified my altogether at least 14,000 people. So that means they've only probably sent a notification to about maybe 100 people. All right. Coronavirus is an anagram of carnivorous. Yeah. He didn't eat the whole bus in Jeepers Creepers at ABB. He didn't eat the whole bus. I'm sorry. I must have missed something. I'm skeptical that countries can mass produce food without hormones and packing animals in tight spaces. I'm inclined to believe we need to focus on local farm. Now, what's happening now with this massive transformation, that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to become more self-reliant, more independent, and this is going to open up a lot of opportunities for homegrown farms, homegrown businesses. You're going to see an explosion in people working from home, doing contract work, working at their own pace. That's partly what I've been doing for the past 11 years. I've just taken it to another level. Okay, I use a grounding mat. You can find them on Amazon. Okay, I drink chlorophyll. Yes, chlorophyll is a great dietary supplement, guys. That's a good one, chlorophyll. And also, I'm just going to make a recommendation. Tenacious Earth is another good one, and I do that one when I am fasting. That does. It's straight from the earth. It's called Tenacious Earth. A teaspoon or two in a cup of room temperature water. Drink it on an empty stomach. Some good stuff. Doesn't taste the best, but it's good for your digestive and your gut flow. The more we can depend on ourselves, the better. Absolutely. Ideally, you try to grow and catch your own food and then have a local farm for further needs. Perhaps a little help beyond that. Absolutely. Anita says, I didn't get a notification. I just saw you had went live when I turned into my subscriptions. Yeah. Yeah, I know you guys know what's up with that. Wow, 14,000 people. Had no idea your fan base was that long. Actually, it would have been far larger than that. I know you're just coming back, but around 2010, around 2011, 12, my channel was arrested in growth overnight when Google took it over. That's a fact. And the reason why it's too much to get into, but it's basically because I disagreed to be a controlled influencer in a nutshell. So I had, around that time, I had close to 10,000 subscribers back then. Because on average, I was getting three to 450 new subscribers every month. Now, I on average maybe get 6 a month new subscribers. And even those don't stick most of the time, according to the analytics. All right, Dimensions Earth, it's a white powder, root parasites. Yes, it's good for people farmers and planters use it to keep parasites off of the vegetation. Animals, despite what people say, animals are a part of an oversoul. They continue to live on. They evolve too. Dogs evolve into higher being. You know these the pyramids with the Anubis type dogs. All that is very real. People say that's all symbolic. No, that this is all real. Those are highly advanced canines, and they are giants. They really do exist. They just exist on another dimension. Every living organism continues to evolve and grow and become a wiser, more advanced version of itself. So dogs, yes, they are part of they are part of a soul group, and they continue to evolve. And you just look at them, pay attention to them. You if you look at dogs and cats now, look in their eyes, it's almost like you're looking at humans. They clearly have very, very high intelligence. They just communicate very differently. They do a lot of human like things. They're very sensitive to human emotions. And that's because they're learning from us. They do a lot of energy things for us, but they're also learning and growing from us. So yes, there are humanoid dogs, humanoid cats, felines, humanoid, all kind of beings. Of course, you guys know about the most popular ones, the ones they call the reptilians, the insectoids. All of that is real. It's all real. And I'm not talking theory. I'm talking what I've seen and what I remember. And none of it spooks me out because I'm used to it. Now, I know to people who have no memory and they're still in la la land, this kind of stuff would be terrifying to them. But again, the nature of reality, it's just what it is. It is what it is. Uh, some some might visit you in dreams. On that, yes, absolutely, I do. I visit some of you guys too. And I'm gonna tell you, it gets validated a lot of times because for instance, there have been multiple people who have written me and told me I've come to them in their dream, and I'll always have these two Caucasian guys who are chauffeuring me, and that's very true. That's very true, and they are and they work on my behalf. They work with me, and I'm not going to get too deep into that, but and they talk about how I would give them the keys, and I would give them information that's specifically for them. That's why I say when they close one door down here, I'm going to find another. That's just the way I'm made. You're insectophobic, well, that's because obviously you've had a life with them and develop a fear. A lot of the fear of insects is related to subconscious memory of warring with the insectoids for a lot of beings down here. And so what is happening for a lot of us, we are put down here and given dominion, and these insects are down here in a smaller form for us to work on ourselves to get over those fears. Now, if you are fearful of an insect that's very small down here, you're the bigger person. I mean, just imagine beings that are like your height and taller that are insect and highly intelligent. So you see, my nephew has a very he's very afraid of spiders, and understandably so to a degree because the spider can be very poisonous. But I told him that he has to start working on that because, as I've told you guys before, there are astral spiders, giant ones, and there are beings who are very, very giant, intelligent spiders out there as well. Worlds of a whole world where there are highly evolved, highly intelligent insects, highly intelligent plants, highly intelligent what we would call animals. It goes on, fam. The universe is teeming with life that is truly beyond human comprehension. Excuse me. We also have beings who are made of plasma, light. It goes on and on and on and on. Intelligent beings made of water. And when I say made of water, I'm not talking about like us where we carry water. I'm talking about these beings can form something out of water. They are water. They can move about in water form. Cats and dogs are becoming more evolved due to being made pets to learn. Absolutely. Absolutely. Have you ever had the so-called men in black at your door? Not at my door, but on the Astral, and I have seen one get on the elevator. I talked about that years ago, and I started getting really, really hot, and I made him really, really uncomfortable because he knew I knew what was up. And see, these guys are very telepathic. They're very psychic. They know what you're thinking. They know what you. Uh, they're very telepathic. I'll just leave it at that. So when you pick up and you know they're not human. You sense that who they and what they really are. They can pick up on it, and it makes them very nervous. Not the Men in Black, but shapeshifter. You name it, I've experienced it. Let's just put it like that. Or I remember experiencing it. Okay, let me go back. I think I may have missed some of you guys' feedback. Yes, I've had an encounter with a Men in Black here in Atlanta, and it seemed as though he was reading my mind. Yeah, they're very telepathic. Yeah, they're very, very psychic, very telepathic. I feel like most plants, minerals, and animals remember and know the true nature. Yes, they do. What do I? Oh, what's up? Unplug the Matrix. What do you think will happen in the fall, especially December? In the Earth. Excuse me. I already talked about this. Number one, I'm going to keep saying it. When these people throw these dates out, y'all have to. I think we've seen more than enough to know that even if there were an event to happen like that, nobody can pinpoint the exact date when something like that would happen. Will something, is it possible that something would happen where there's a solar flare? Absolutely. Will it happen will it be 3 days and 3 nights? There's a potential, but absolutely, but based on what I'm saying, no, I don't see that happening no time soon. I did a reading on this like way back in 2012 when people were saying this, and I was the only one out here saying, no, I don't see that's not going to happen. It's the same thing with that. Now, in December, you're going to see a lot of things unfolding in politics. It's going to be the political scene is going to be the dominant scene. The revelation in terms of what's going on with these high profile celebrities and politicians is what's going to be the main issue. And this whole racial mess, they're really going to, with this vigilante justice, all this kind of stuff. Now, will the energies continue to permeate it? Yes, because this is something that's not overnight. This is going to continue. It's just going to increase. Next year, we're going to continue to see more chaos, more confusion, more fear, more of what we see now. But it just as it look like it's going to look like it's going to get out of control. It's going to continue to do just what we've been seeing. It's going to fall flat. Because I'm telling you guys, if you hear me and you see me, you know we are on the trajectory where that side, their asses are not, their asses are being handed to them. It's not working in their favor. I keep telling y'all this. These people pushing this fear mongering, and a lot of and I see a lot of it with people of darker hue because and they're not, it's not because they're bad people. It's because they so desperately want to see change happen for our people, but they don't understand that some of this stuff for our people has to play out. It just, no matter how much you try to change certain things must happen. It must play out for reasons of cause and effect, and for our collective growth as a nation. So it's not going to happen. It's going to happen just like I've always said. These changes are happening, yes, dramatically, yes, natural disasters, yes, everything that we've seen, but all of it is going to continue happening incrementally. Yes, people will be leaving during these times just as they always had. But again, it's a matter of what you choose to put your focus on. I tell people stop trying. This is why I don't do readings anymore, because I've realized it starts making people paranoid to the point where they get too caught up in what might happen and what may happen and too preoccupied instead of living in the now and making progress with self and doing what needs to be done to make the best possible now so that we can have the best outcome tomorrow. Oh my God, I see the ones working behind the camera, so-called in power, are losing power, and how they are trying so hard. Yes, that's exactly why everything, I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, like, for instance, why these police cams, who's releasing that stuff shouldn't even be put on social media. So this is telling you this is all staged and orchestrated. That kind of stuff should not be released in the public before a trial. So someone is clearly orchestrating people in great positions of power to be able to let stuff out like that, and there are no consequences to those who are doing it. And and like I said, a lot of this stuff is also it's acted. There are people faking. It's fake. A lot of this shit is not even real. And what's real, they take these video shit that happened some years ago and they make it like it just happened, or they'll take random acts that didn't have to do with the other and pile them together and put it out there like it's happening now, and people with no sense of self or discernment would just go running with it and just sharing and liking it, and just boom, there you go, millions of people riling their emotions, angry, depressed, sad, feeling hopeless, and feeding into that low vibratory state of consciousness. Have you ever experienced a robbed entity in the astral with a box that shows symbols of download information to your mind? This happened to me, and it showed me that the universe had no meaning. I did a video, but not exactly like that, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I had done a video, in that video, I talked about cats as gatekeepers, and I talked about Syrian warriors with interdimensional abilities. That dream that I talked about in that video, that's really what that was for me in a roundabout way. Similar to what you're talking about, but that's a deceptive entity. That's what deceptive entities do. Now, to a degree, when it says the universe has no meaning, from a perspective, I can see where that is true, but once you put meaning to it, because as a God or eternal being, it now has meaning. Again, this is that polarity consciousness that I'm talking about. You have one group over here insisting that it's all this, and then you got someone on this side saying it's all that. Yes, from someone who has not evolved and haven't created and brought meaning into the universe. From their perspective, yeah, the universe has no meaning. But from my perspective, it has every bit of meaning that I want it to have. And it should be the same with anybody who's breathing in air, H2O, at this time, and who's had several lives down here at this point. The nomad society perception. Oh, no. Oh, that's at Nomad Society, your perception, and it depends on what your energy is attracting. They will only come off, yeah, I love that catchphrase. I didn't come up with it. Where energy flows, energy flows where your attention goes, or something like that. That's very true. This is why they want to keep everybody's attention on negativity, only on negativity. Anyone else feels so? And in the New Age community, they were doing the polar opposite. Now, I'm going to tell you, there was a time when I was out there telling people that we need to focus on more positivity. Now, let me tell you, I was not saying that in terms of this is all we should be doing. I was saying it within the context of where we were, because the collective of humanity was so out of balance. I was encouraging more people to start focusing more on only positivity to bring balance to the collective. I was not ignoring the negative or telling people, oh, you should just ignore all your problems. And you guys can go back and look at my videos. I always shared my information within a context, and I always shared it with balance and with clarity. Now, whether people sat and really paid attention to every single detail, that's another story, because people like to take what they want to hear and go run with it. But I was very, very meticulous and thoughtful in how I put my videos together and what I put out there. And by the way, someone had asked me again about donations. If you guys would like to see me do this more often, I got to be honest, I did it for 11 years and I still do it for free. But yeah, For those of us, this is energy work. Sometimes, every now and then, I'm not saying you have to, but sometimes, not just with me, those of us you see who are being marginalized, if you want us to be, at this point, we need more people to balance the energy we give out. Because when we do this, we give off a lot of ourselves. So we need more people when you can, and if you can, to donate or give some. And it doesn't even have to be money. You can donate by simply sharing the content. That's all. Or ensuring that your like is represented or engage in the content. I just need more of us to balance the energy exchange, because this can be very, very draining for us. And so, you just like these influencers, these people are making six figures. Their handlers are making sure they good. That's why it's nothing for them to keep coming up here and putting out all this fear porn, all this fear mongering, all this confusion, because their pockets stay packed. And people give them donations for nothing but just getting up here gossiping, not giving them nothing to improve themselves. And some of these people are becoming millionaires, and here people like such as ourselves, we get next to nothing. And so this is why we end up being drained. This is what has happened with Miss Quiet Queen. I found what I was doing here. This is why I would take long breaks the way I do, because I had to learn that. Because back when I first started out, I was definitely doing everything, just giving off all this, and doing free readings, dream interpretation, doing these videos back to back. I mean, I almost ran myself in the ground, because again, it was a learning curve, and I had to learn boundaries, and I had to set them, because there was not enough energy balancing what I was giving out. So if you guys would like to donate periodically, and you want to see more of this, not just with me, but others who are being marginalized or whatever, we need your support in multiple ways. All right. So if you would like to donate, please, by all means, go to AstralBooBaby.net and click on donate at the bottom, and you will see the options there. Yes, they have lost. They have already lost control. But let me tell you, the reason why we still see certain things playing out is because contractually it has to. You see, their contract is up. But in terms of certain things that must play out for a tribe and a nation, for their energetic agreements, currency to be balanced, certain things must continue to play out. But at the same time, you have those who don't want to give up their power. All right, 53 people in the room. It's just still at 48 likes. What's up, y'all? Come on now. Years ago, Boo was on fire and still is. Oh, thank you. Just a different time we are in. Yeah, back then I would filter a lot of what I would say too, because again, it was new. But I also had a lot of children. Like, children were always drawn to me, and back then, a lot of my audience was overwhelmingly like teenage, like 13, 14, 15 year olds, and then I had a lot of elders, and so I would filter my stuff out of respect, because I was very clear on the audience. But guess what? A lot of those children are out there. Some of them are influencers doing it the right way. I'm not going to say who they are, but they're out there and they're making waves. Trust me when I tell you. Those seeds were planted back then, and some of them some of them will say, I think they'll say AstralBooBaby was the one that encouraged me to do this, do what I'm doing now, and they're reaching far more people. Be the change and witness. We are the change. Absolutely. They really want Trump out of office, and now again, you came in late. What I said to the people earlier is that you have to not look at it as Trump, the person you see. You look at it as Team Trump, meaning the beings who are behind the image of Trump. All right, read between the lines. All right, it's those who they don't want in office. So you can say the gods who have not fallen are at war, and we are at war on the ground level, and then the war is going on interdimensionally. This is happening multidimensionally, guys. Is Trump a good guy? Uh, the real guy, yes. The ones, the copy, so to speak, that has been controlled by different beings, depending on the control. There have been different versions of control, I will say that. But the one that's being controlled at this time, they represent more of the change, the positive change. Yeah, you can look at it as a form of possession. Absolutely. Matrix Mind, bro, you know who I am. It's been a minute, but I know. Yeah, fam, I've met a lot of people over the years. Welcome. I also heard most people say that Trump is a good guy. You know, aside from being, being arrogant and full of oneself. And again, a lot of that comes from being born with privilege and access and resources or whatever. When you don't develop, when you come from that, it is very hard to develop deeper character. But because of the kind of people the real Trump hung around, you know, he learned some of that. Some of that did rub off on him. And he did, the real Trump does have an angelic in his realm, in his space. Okay? So that is a form of teaching and helping to elevate people as such. There is nothing new under the sun. Sure ain't. At this point, there are multiple Trumps. Let me tell you guys why, at this point in the game, why the positive reasons for their using copies, so to speak, right? It is because this war is so severe and so great that the power players are in tremendous danger. It's a way of keeping the original safe. And so that if the copy is harmed in any kind of way, that's the copy. It's not the original. So people will get out there and say, oh, they'll try to make it like this is being done for evil reasons. Yes, it can be done for evil reasons. But again, there's nothing all good or all negative and all positives down here at this point. On the positive side, it is to protect them and their families. All right? Okay, I heard most people say we are watching factions versus factions. Yep. Ancient souls at this point. Ancient principalities, seen and unseen. No, I'm going to say that these principalities are all of the principalities involved at this point. They are all unseen, but they are moving the kings and queens and the leaders across the chessboard. You see what I mean? Oh, okay. Wow, time sure does fly. There's so much we can get into, guys, but unfortunately, I got to get ready to bring this one to a close. I see all your questions. I will continue again. At this point, I'm really just doing these videos for my loyal viewers. I appreciate you guys so much. Battle of the Reptilians, Draconians in the White House. Oh, man. Hey, ABB. Still waiting on my shout out. Beverly Wilson, what's up, Beverly? There's your shout out. What's up, fam? How you doing? I do apologize. Way overdue. How have you seen many Bidens? His ears are different all the time. Yeah, all of them have multiples at this point. Now, let me tell you, there will be a time where that will not even work because these copies, as the electromagnetic wave of the planet, they can't survive in a certain climate. So there's going to come a point where they will not be able to use them at all. And this is where you will see them, apparently they'll say they passed away or something, because they can no longer get these things and control them, because electromagnetically speaking, they are very unnatural to the new earth, and the transitional phases that we're going through. The energetically speaking, these things can't survive in that. Love you too, Beverly Wilson. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you guys. Really are. I'm telling you, my most at this point, again, because I planted the seeds, but at this point, it is my most loyal viewers who I do this for. You guys, you know who you are. It's too many to mention, but there are especially about 12 specifically who really have been with me from day one and have not waned one bit. But there are many more. I'm talking about outside of my blood relatives. About 12 of you guys who have been with me from day one. You have not waned. Armar is one of them, but I ain't going to go into all of them. Matrix Mind. Miss. Well, like I say, it's you guys that I really appreciate, who have been with me all of these years. I miss you guys. When I don't hear from you, this is why I'm doing this live. I'm really checking in on you guys. Hey, Casey. Yes, we go way back. Welcome, fam. I still owe you an interview. Yeah, I still owe you an interview. I owe a lot of interviews. You have to write me offline. I stay really busy, guys. So I do apologize. I may not, if I give my word to do something, I may not always do it when you want it or would like, but I always come through sooner or later. Gaia, where's Gaia? I'll give you a holler later, brother. Oh, you're welcome, Amar. AJ the Being, me and others think Biden is actually a bot. Those exist too. We are talking about beings in the game now who have technology that is truly beyond human comprehension. If we were to see it, it would seem like magic from our perspective. But it's just advanced technology, or just the natural nature of reality that has been hidden from us, and it'll seem like magic from a dumbed down point of view. Tall Starlight, what's up, fam? Unfortunately, I'm about to bring this one to a close, but I will be back. I will be back. Tell your beautiful sister we're checking on her also. Yeah, my sister's doing very well. Everybody's doing very, very well. We are good. So, yes, it's been great, guys. I'm about to go and get in my creative zone before I get some rest. I want to thank you all again so much for years of continued support. And again, not just with me, but with others. By all means, share our content. Even if you have to, and I don't care if you put it on a CD, a thumb drive to get it out there. I don't care. You don't even have to give me, just say, hey, here's some good information. You can do make a compilation of my stuff and everybody else that you look and say, here's some stuff, some good information, some good intel I think you might appreciate. If take what resonates, leave the rest behind. Their technology is primitive. It's crap. Let me tell y'all, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to go. I'm very clear on the power of the gods, so to speak. And I'm only using that for lack of a better word at this point, right? Their technology they are so advanced that they can stop time. Now, we can do this too in our higher state. The angels that did not come down, they can do it as well. I'm telling you what I know, not what I believe, no theory. These beings can stop time. That's how powerful. Now, what do you think these people down here got on that? And that's just one small aspect. These beings are so powerful, they can come over your house. You would not see them, and they can teleport people, your physical body, turn you into a frequency wave, pull you through the ceiling, have you take you somewhere for what looks like days and weeks and bring you back, and you'll think you've only been gone a couple of hours. Where they, because they can move outside of time. I'm telling you that if they want to come down here, shut this mess down, but they don't, because there are protocols, there are rules of engagement. If they wanted to, they can. It will be like coming taking candy from a baby. They are. I'm telling you. I don't want to sound condescending when I say this. These people down here don't know what real power is. They thought they knew, but now they're starting to find out. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, I'm about to go, guys. Again, you all love beyond measure. Continue to question, learn, and grow. And y'all know what's up. Happy travels. And I will be back much sooner than later. And that is a promise. All right. Have a good one, guys.